Hello, it's time for Layback with Betfair AFL Grand Final edition. Now, Karl has requested, after seeing himself on the screen last week, he wanted another show. He pushed it harder than any other show we've ever seen. He was in the lay bin. Karl is back. Great to have you, mate.
This is a stitch up. You're a couple of donuts, both of you. I said it earlier. Getting put in the lay bin for promoting a show, getting the Betfair, the layback with Betfair name out there.
You've requested coming back on. Great to have you here. You got a haircut specially.
Yeah.
Went to the Brownlow and now you're everywhere, mate.
Yeah,
it's great to have you back.
Yeah, the Brownlow was fantastic. Walking, just felt natural, like it was the right thing. Walking down the red carpet. It was just fantastic.
And Miles Pfitzner from AFL Nation and SEN is a superstar. He's called about 10 to 12 AFL games. He does it all with SEN.
That's this year, not in my life.
Sorry,
Thanks, Tommy.
That's this year, but he's a star. He does all the horse racing form. He's obviously on layback with Betfair. He's a genuine gun. We've got Geelong Sydney AFL Grand Final. Geelong going to the game at $1.52, Sydney $2.88. Do you want to read some stats, Karl? You've done your homework this week.
I'm keen to just set the scene. It's AFL Grand Final day. I'm looking forward to a really tough contest between these two teams. Generally, they have pretty close contests, but Geelong have won 3 of the last 5, but Sydney have won the last 2, including that one earlier in the year where Buddy kicked his 1,000th goal. A great stat is, though, in the last 4 times they've played at the MCG, Sydney have won 3 of them. So, that's got to be a massive stat that we'll be talking about.
Yeah, it is. And look, Sydney have got the longest winning streak against of any club against Geelong at the moment. I think that when you go into grand finals, so they are a different kettle of fish and when it becomes pressure and contested football and those sort of things. So I'm not too concerned, probably from a Geelong perspective, the winning streaks or the MCG record. Geelong play the G very, very well. Sydney do. They're the best team in the comp at adjusting to a ground. No doubt about that, are the Sydney Swans. But it'll be interesting to see how they set up, because it's either going to be Geelong are either going to go with a defensive shutdown contested like they will against Sydney, or they'll go out and out, we've got more firepower, we'll just try to kick more goals at them.
It's interesting. Well, let's read some stats, Karl. Geelong average 8th in the AFL for kicks, 5th in the AFL for handballs, 6th in disposals, 5th for goals, 5th for marks and 3rd for goals. Sydney 4th in the AFL for kicks, 14th in disposals, handballs, 10th for disposals, 10th for marks, 4th for goals. So Geelong are 3rd for goals, Sydney 4th for goals. So they're both high-scoring teams and successful at doing so. And average 2nd for tackles, Sydney. So they're a hard tackling game. And you think that'll help them in the grand final?
I think that's a massive one for me. Like, obviously, we know grand finals are a hot contest over the last couple of years. Generally, the team that gets the most contested possessions for the game end up winning the game. But like a great stat is that if you combine all the Sydney and Geelong players and then tally up their contested possessions, Sydney have 4 of the 5 leading contested possession players out of both teams, which I think that is a massive start.
Yeah, but that's also because Geelong also play a sort of kick and keep the ball off style of football. So you're going to see probably a bit of a differential in that. Sydney will want to try to make it that contested. Geelong will try and open it up. And that's probably what they've done this year, is their scoring's gone up plus 15. They've managed to open the game up more and score faster with a more potent forward line. So it is a tale of 2 different sort of game styles.
We saw it last week against Brisbane. Geelong's half-back line, they played extra behind the ball. They worked through their back forward or back 50, defensive 50 was superb. So Brisbane just couldn't attack, had no prowess or firepower up forward. Geelong dominated the half-back line and that won them the game. Sydney were different. They got up early. They have an ability to kick fast, especially at the SCG, which helps their scoring power. But they kick goals quickly. They started the game so well. And what do you make of their last 20-odd minutes or quarter and a half there, Fitzy?
Well, I wanted to ask both of you this. You remember that the Sydney they've got into a dogfight, which is hard. The game was after. They've got a shorter turnaround than the Cats. The Cats cruised through. Now, and also they had players that were rested late in the year that have played very limited games. They are fresh. Where Sydney, they've been up for a long time, and they've come out of a really solid hit out. That's got to take its toll on a big deck like the G.
It's interesting that you bring up this point, Fitzy, because I actually think sometimes that works in the favour of the team that has the harder preliminary final. I think some history shows that, teams like the shorter backup that have those tougher preliminary games actually go into the final ready to go. They know what the grand final footy is going to be all about. So that could play into Sydney's favour. But keen on your thoughts as well, Tom.
Yeah, I tend to see both sides of the argument, really. I think Sydney will come out and be really hard at the ball early, and they might be able to get up early. And my play will actually take the $2.88 Sydney, lay off at a slightly shorter price, $2.40, $2.20 even, increment some lay bets in play as well.
There's
set them
definitely
up.
a back to lay strategy.
And and I think that's what I'll be
Completely
doing.
agree.
Back Sydney now at the $2.88, set some lay traps and win either way. How are you playing the game?
You hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I think currently Sydney at 288 is over the odds. I can see them going in much shorter, closer to the $2 mark during the game at some stage. So, like you said, setting those lay traps on Betfair is the way to go.
Yep.
They'll start like a hurricane, Sydney.
Yeah.
They'll come. Oh yeah, they will. And that's the quick backup in the horse terms. They'll come pouring out. Geelong might take a while to get going, and then they're just going to run them off their legs. So
you're
get a bit
leaning
of
to Geelong?
Just get a bit of a sense by how we're talking here that I've been in the Geelong camp and he's been
You in the Geelong camp?
Yeah, I'm in the Geelong camp. And
So you're backing Geelong to win, but you're happy to join us in the fact that Sydney will start well early.
Sydney will shorten off the 288. And there's no doubt in my mind about that. That at some point they're going to hit probably a 220, 230 quote. At least if you're prepared to go and take the 50 cents, go and take it.
That's what it's about. That's the beauty of Betfair. You can back, lay, trade, whatever you can do. First goal scorer. We've got a plethora of markets, obviously, at betfair.com.au. So many markets. Anything. First scoring plays, one of my plays. Back in Sydney, the point. First scoring play. Yeah, just one.
So what was that, Tom?
Sydney point, first scoring play. $4.20. You just back the outsider in these
Professional.
markets.
That's
I've done the data.
professional
You know what we need on this show is, one of those things where Tom's looking up and it's got all those numbers flicking through about how he came up with it.
Alan from The Hangover.
Yeah.
Crunch the numbers. Yeah, Sydney. Well, that's the first market we've got. First scoring play, and I'm back in Sydney point. So see how we go. First goal scorer. We've come out and said that we think Sydney will start well. Now, we're just going through the market. Hawkins rightly favourite, $3.50. $11.50. Cameron's actually favourite about that $11, which is surprising. He only kicked one goal late last week from memory. Dangerfield, $18, kicked the first goal last week. Brad Close, $24. And we go to Sydney, Heaney, $14. Papley, $14. Luke Parker, $34. Does that add a bit of interest there?
Definitely Parker.
He kicked the first last week.
Was
did.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah.
Across the board, Sydney have more of a spread of players that kick their first goal, whereas Geelong's is a little bit more predictable. You got Hawkins has kicked it 3 times this year, Cameron has kicked it 3 times, Close has kicked it 2, and Dangerfield has kicked it 2. It's a little bit more of a spread at Sydney.
I think that's general their scoring as well. They have their midfielders kick goals like we saw last week with Luke Parker, Tom Papley chips in. They got a lot of smalls that kick goals for them as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I think Heaney has kicked multiple first goals this year, so has Papley, so has Luke Parker. I think the value out of everyone is Luke Parker at $34, and he's actually done it in a grand final before.
Has he?
He kicked it, I'm pretty sure, against the Doggies.
Yeah, right.
In that grand
and
final.
And prelim.
Yep.
He's backing up 2 weeks in a row. Who are you with?
Look, my heart wants to get on Paps for
it'd be great
for first goal, but I'm with Tyson Stengel from the Cats. I think. Just one quick note on first goals is if you're building multis or things like that for the entire day, just take it easy on the first goal scorer. I mean, it is one.
It's a great bet.
It's a 1 in 30. Isn't it really? Like
it's
probably the hardest bet you'll have on grand final days. The first goal scorer.
Stengel $14, Papley $14.50.
Yeah,
I'll be taking
there's
some of that.
nibbles
So
there.
I'll be having something on Papley first goal scorer. I don't want to see him kick it and not have something.
Well, we don't want to see him afterwards, do we? And say that we didn't get on if he did.
That's right. We might sledge him if he misses it. Any other markets? Any other players in the first goal scorer?
I definitely think, like what we said before, Sydney have kicked the first goal 4 of the last 5 games. I really like that. Looking for a bit of value there because it is a hard bet. Luke Parker's done it before at $34 on the Betfair Exchange. I think that's a good bet.
I'll tell you what, if Luke Parker kicks the first goal, we'll have to have a wrap-up grand final edition. This will get promoted, cut up and promoted absolutely everywhere.
I know. I'll order the red carpet ahead of time.
A figurine made, little head wobble one.
Sitting up here somewhere.
Yeah, I'll look after merch, don't you worry.
All sorts of markets. We've got 3 goals or more, 30 disposals or more, player possessions, all sorts of stuff.
Well, one I want to touch on here is the possession markets. Now, these are 2 teams that are notoriously... they share the footy around. So they can win games of football where their max possession getter will be 24, 25 touches, and then they'll have a stack of players from 18 to 25 touches. They don't have standalone 35, like Brisbane have with Neil or Hawthorn have had in the past. it's going to be a reasonably low possession game, I think, for your top enders, unless someone is a bolter. So with your possession markets, I'd be shopping in that sort of 15 to 25 range for a lot of them, 15 plus or 20 plus in that area, because I don't think you're going to find in a contested game with these two sides how they share the footy around. You're not going to have three blokes get 35 plus, I don't think.
Ryan Clark's done a really good job in the last few weeks of tagging from the half back.
Salem the other week.
Salem had three possessions the last half, and who did he have last week? He tagged someone last week and did a really good job as well from the half back line. So
whoever he goes to is in for a tough day.
Yeah, so you can have a look and check that matchup out. Really interesting. He's got an important role there as well because Geelong's half back line's so good.
Joel Cashman, a Betfair content contributor who does AFL, does the Brownlow Predictors. Cashies. And
great
absolutely,
name. What a great name.
That goes on the backboard. He's had an absolutely awesome year. We bring up this subject. He's actually laying Callum Mills to get 30 disposals or more. Mills has only cracked 30 disposal barrier twice this year. And the last time was in round 7. So 17 games ago was the last time Callum Mills hit 30 touches.
We've got the line at 25.5 Callum Mills disposals. So I'll probably take the unders there. 25.5.
I'd take the unders.
There we go. So there's a play. Norm Smith. Everyone loves a Norm Smith bet. Who are you leaning to?
Well, I'm thinking because it's going to be low possession, I don't think you're going to see the Norm Smith, I think, going to someone that has 32 and 9 clearances. So I've gone down the path of it has to be a goal scorer then. And who better than someone that can kick a big bag on the G is Jeremy Cameron. Loves the G, wide open spaces. He's probably going to get the second defender. The main defender will go to Hawkins, of course. You got Stengel and the other crew running around the smalls. They'll feed him. Jeremy Cameron, Norm Smith for me. That's my on-top selection. If I had one for Sydney, look, you could be a host of any of those.
Sydney's
those
such a hard team to.
So hard.
Even.
But yeah, I'm all about Cameron because I think it'll go to a goal kicker. If someone kicks 4 in a low-scoring, tight, contested game with low possessions, they win a Norm Smith, don't they?
Carlos?
It's great that you brought that up as well, Fitzy, because I think you've absolutely nailed it. You got to be a goal kicker to win the Norm Smith medal, and that's what history says, and obviously it's a midfielders. It's becoming more of a midfielders award. 5 of the last 6 years, midfielders have won the award.
Brian Lakes says hello.
Brian Lakes, comes back a few years ago in 2013. Yep. That was an absolutely fantastic performance. But, even including Jason Johannesson, Luke Hodge, these are players that play off the half back line and go through the midfield, but they're also goal kickers in games and then go on and win Norm Smith. So I had a look at the last, since the year 2000, and Norm Smith medal winners, there was only 4 backmen, 2 forwards, and 17 midfielders, right? And 14 of the 17 midfielders kicked at least 1 goal. 9 of the 17 kicked multiple goals.
Yep.
So
Petrarca won it last year? Kicked a couple, 2 or 3?
He kicked 2 goals, I think 2 or 3 goals last year. So, yeah, it's definitely a goal kicker's award, I think, at history says. So, yeah, looking especially at those first goal markets, like if Isaac Heaney or even Luke Parker can get the first one, and obviously Swans go on to win,
it also sets up for a bloke like maybe like an Isaac Smith who can go off, like run off a wing, say, have 24 and kick 2, and all of a sudden you go, he's got 7 inside 50s, and you go, well, that's Norm Smith performance, isn't it? Like, you don't have to do, I don't think you have to be absolute, it's not Simon Black style where you're going to 39
and kick a couple, get 20 odd.
Yeah.
I think that's a great call about Isaac Smith, because when Cyril Rioli won the Norm Smith a few years ago, Isaac Smith had an absolute belter, arguably robbed of that Norm Smith
big
medal.
Game player.
So I'm taking the 65s, you reckon?
At Norm Smith for Isaac Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I did not know
my
it was 65,
my main play is going to be Cameron, but if it's 65s right now, you can give me a nibble on that.
That'd be interesting. Who's your main play, mate?
Look, if Sydney win, I'm looking at Luke Parker, Isaac Heaney, Chad Warner could be a roughie there at $22. If Geelong win, I reckon they're going to be stopping goals. So Tom Stewart maybe comes back and plays that Brian Lake sort of game. I know that, like we said, the midfielders are well supported in the Norm Smith medal voting, but yeah, Tom Smith could definitely get the job done. And like Fitzy, Jeremy Cameron. Tom Stewart and Jeremy Cameron. Obviously, if he's kicking 5 goals, he's definitely winning the award.
Tom Stewart's got to take 10 intercept marks, and he has 18 kicks, and
just
there's
another
a Norm
game
Smith
for
medal.
him, though.
Another game, yeah.
I think, and I'm not saying anything outlandish here, but I think Dangerfield, Cameron, Tom Stewart, I think the winner will come from those three. The only one from Sydney, Isaac Heaney, if he has 20 and kicks 3 or 4, he'd be the one from Sydney that I think could do it. But, yeah, I'm happy to be with Dangerfield, Cameron and Tom Stewart, one of those three.
It's a real funny one because they share the ball around, like both teams. So
I love watching the game, and media vote on it. They'll gravitate towards Dangerfield. He was so good last week. He kicked the first goal. He set the tone. I think he's clearly deserved favourite at $7.88.
Isaac Heaney really fits the mould of that Norm Smith medalist winner. You know, Dustin Martin, you get your 25, 30 touches, but you kick 3 goals and the medal's yours.
Any other bets before we wrap up?
Would you want to run through our winner margin, first goal scorer,
why not?
Norm Smith?
Let's do it.
And all of them?
Go on.
I'll let you go because we'll go around there.
All right. Winner, at the price currently, I'm definitely saying Sydney.
Yep.
Norm Smith, I'm going to go with Isaac Heaney, $19 on the exchange. First goal. Oh, that was a tough one. I reckon I'm going to go the double with, I'll go Luke Parker. Yep. And margin, it's going to be under 6 points.
Oh.
Yep. It's going to be a
Sydney
close
under
one.
6.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm Geelong by 13 points. Tyson Stengel, first goal scorer, and Jeremy Cameron, Norm Smith for me with a couple little nibbles that we mentioned.
I'm Geelong 23.
Oh.
I think Sydney will start well and Geelong will finish over the top of them. As similar last week with Collingwood. I think Geelong will just get them a bit earlier. Sydney might run out of puff and the class will show late. Patrick Dangerfield, Norm Smith for me, first goal scorer. I'm sticking with Paps. Hopefully he can get the job done for the great man, Tom Papley. And yeah, we'll see how we go. But my betting, I'm saying Geelong by 23, but I think Sydney's the bet at the price.
Yeah,
So
back to lay.
$2.88. I'll be doing that. So.
From a head-to-head basis.
That's the beauty.
Finally, a professional betting strategy out of you.
Out of the show, funnily enough.
So, well, for the layback with Betfair.
Do you know what? There's going to be a professional promotion strategy around this show.
100%.
Carlos professionally promoting this everywhere.
Billboards. Watch out for Carl's face on billboards
down
around
Punt
Melbourne. Run through a banner on Saturday
all
with his
paid
face
for
on it.
by myself, of course.
Well, I think that's all. Great show. Well done. Great to have you back, Karl.
Hopefully I'm back soon if you'll have me.
Do you know anything
Grand
about?
Final? We've only got 12 months to wait.
I'll be preparing.
We've got Cricket World Cup. We've got Soccer World Cup. He'll be getting on the stats. Don't worry about that. Just for some more airtime. I love it. Thanks for joining us. Laid Back with Betfair. We'll be doing it all again next week. Gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-858-858.